Well, is it visible? Can someone respond to this? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. Uh, so, uh, so I feel very much glad to have this opportunity to interact with you on the topic, which is Internet of Things. In short, we call it as IoT, right? So before I talk on this first slide, I will take you through the contents that I'm going to cover in this particular talk. So uh, this is very well organized. So basically, we start with understanding what is IoT, right? Then we will see different components involved in Internet of Things. Then we will study the embedded system, because embedded system is one of the component of IoT. Then what different embedded platforms are there that can be used in IoT, that we will discuss. After that, I will give you top 15 sensors that can be used in IoT. But I will not give you a specific sensor. I will give you the area of sensors, area of measurements, right? So you will have to find the different sensors available in that. And finally, we will discuss the communication techniques, which will be used to interface the sensor data with the microcontroller, or let's say embedded system, right? So after that, we will see application layer protocols, the rules which are defined for a communication, right? And at the end, we will conclude. We will try to cover this cloud concept in this lecture only, because yeah, of course the presentation is going to be a little bit lengthy. So I believe we will cover it. We will complete it in time. Otherwise, we will have another session in that we will cover this cloud, right? So let's begin. So what is Internet of Thing, right? So if you have some perspective about Internet of Thing, you can uh, tell me what is the Internet of Thing. Otherwise, I will tell you the definition. But before that, let me tell you one thing. If you have some conceptual knowledge about the Internet of Thing, you just keep it aside for a while, because in this 1 hour, I'm going to tell you everything about the Internet of Thing. What is Internet of Thing? What are the components? How it works? Where it is used? What are the areas of application? Everything I'm going to cover in this presentation, right? So just before that, I would like to know what you know about the IoT. So if somebody is having some knowledge about IoT, he or she can unmute and tell me what is IoT. Is there anyone want to talk? Any session has happened on this IoT up till now?
Yes, sir. Every Friday there is a session for us.
Uh, but what is the topic?
So
IoT.
IoT by
IoT
Nathu
only.
sir.
Okay, Nathu sir is guiding you on IoT, right, right, right. Okay, so you might have heard the concept IoT, right? So let me tell you the technology behind it, because I'm not going to tell you philosophically. I'm going to tell you the technology, right? So whatever aspect, technological aspects are there, that I'm going to cover now. So let us split the word internet. Internet means it's a collection, or it's a network of computers. Global network of computer is referred as a internet. And what is thing? Thing can be any device, or any physical object can be termed as a thing. So the physical object that do not require any specific name is called as a thing, right? Suppose you're in a class, you are having bunch of benches, right? Those benches do not have a specific name like human being does. जसे आपल्याला स्पेसिफिक नावं असतात, तसे टेबलला, खुर्चीला स्पेसिफिक नावं नसतात, राईट? सो एनिथिंग that do not require a specific name comes in the category of things, right? So any physical object is termed as a thing. Now here we are talking about Internet of Things, so we are going to join those two words. Now while joining these two words, we have to understand the aspect that we are interconnecting devices, interconnecting the things over by using the internet. So the definition of Internet of Thing is the network of physical devices. It's an interconnected network of physical devices which are able to communicate with each other, or which are able to send and receive the data from one another over the internet. This is important. So, Internet of Things is the network of physical devices which are able to communicate with each other over the internet. This is the simple definition of IoT. Now, if I want to give you the examples, if there are certain objects which are able to communicate, means what? In what sense? We are having some sensors placed on that physical thing, right? And if that sensor sending a data to some control system, and then control system sends some data to the internet, and the internet stores that data on a cloud, we will call this as a IoT, right? So what objects, what are the examples of objects? It may basically includes computer, it may include mobile phone, it may include tablet, tab. Then you can have your pen drive, you can have a keyboard, you can have mouse, monitor, table, chair, cupboard, right? Blackboard. So many examples are there which comes in the category of things, right? These are just a physical objects, and if those objects are communicating with each other over the internet, we will call them as a internet of things. So just to summarize this, what things comes in a IoT, you can observe, can you see the pointer?
Yes, sir.
Pointer of this, yes, you can see. So anything, any device, as I said, it can cover anything and any device of the globe. If they are communicating, it comes in a IoT. The next is anyone, anybody, means what? It can be related with me, it can be related with each one of you, it can be related with all the doctors, it can be related with all the engineers, it can be related with all lawyers. Each and every one of this entire universe is associated with the IoT if they are having sensors that are communicating with each other. Getting my point? Then next, any service, any business. Now there are so many software development services, there are so many software industries, as well as, let's say, e-commerce businesses. Best example I can give you, Amazon, right? This Amazon comes in this IoT because we have access to the product list available on a Amazon cloud, and we can purchase those goods, right? Remotely we can purchase those goods. That's why it is treated as a IoT. So similar to this Amazon, we have Flipkart, Snapdeal, and so on, right? Too many businesses that operates on this e-commerce services that comes in IoT. The next one is any path, any network. Now you may say, sir, I'm using a internet of Jio, right? Some other student may say, sir, I'm using internet service provided by Idea. So which internet you are talking about? So I'm talking about all internet services are coming in this IoT. They are associated with IoT, right? So next is any place, anywhere. It can be operated from school, it can be operated from college, it can be operated from hospital, railway station, bus stand, right? Any public or private places can comes in IoT, and any time and any constant. So if those sensors placed on those physical devices, if they are able to communicate with each other at any time, any place, any device, anybody, any service, any business, any path, any network, anywhere, that is treated as a IoT. So now you can imagine the scope of IoT. So the things, almost 40 subjects you might have studied, you are going to study in the entire career of engineering. So those subjects, whatever knowledge you gain for electronics, that is going to help in understanding the IoT, right? So what are the objectives of Internet of Things? To globally connect the smart things or objects. So if I'm using WhatsApp is one of the application that comes with my smartphone, right? I can talk with my friend which is sitting at the US very easily. So the smart things, smartphones and objects are able to communicate, they are able to connect with each other, which are far away from each other, right? Second objective is objects are uniquely identified. So best example I can give you for this IoT is RFID. IoT began with RFID. RFID starts in 1967. In 1967, first RFID concept was established, which is used to uniquely identify different animals, because we used to have the barcodes which are attached with the animals, and we can track their locations, we can track their existence, right? So this is how RFID works, and basically to uniquely identify the objects we require the IoT. The next is interoperability among the objects. So with the communication between devices, you can have different tasks to get performed, right? So these are the objectives of IoT. This is just a small, simple example I have demonstrated here. This is an example of IoT. Example of IoT used in a small school. Now, are you able to read the contents which are shown here? Otherwise, I let me read what things are coming in IoT, right? So this is a small school. I would rather say smart Internet of Things by established in a school. So right from a personalized learning with adaptive e-books, right from your book, you can have notebook, tablet, phones, right from your gadgets to here at this end you can find the bus which is embedded with some sort of sensors, and you can keep a track of this bus if you are a parent, right? So all those sensors comes in a Internet of Things. So you can read how many things are there that can be automated and that can be put on Internet of Things, right? So this is just an example of schools. By observing this, you can understand the scope of IoT, right? It may have a robotic cleaning, you can have surveillance security cameras, you can have Wi-Fi sensors and locks. So right, so all attendance system and all those management systems can be used with this IoT. So this is just an example of well established IoT in a school. If I move on, one more small example I would like to cover here, that is an umbrella. Now, what is umbrella in Marathi? If I say, it's a काय म्हणतो आपण, छत्री, बरोबर आहे ना? सो छत्रीचा यूज काय होऊ शकतो, किंवा छत्रीला आपण IoTचं ऍप्लिकेशन कसं बनवू शकतो? कॅन यू हॅव एनी आयडिया? Right, so umbrella can be designed to behave as a human entity. You can make umbrella as a living entity, right? So there are some solutions. So I will have a small embedded system installed on that umbrella, and umbrella will have that embedded system which is interfaced with GSM and GPS module. GSM and GPS module. Now this umbrella and the embedded system is connected with the internet, and because it is connected with the internet, it can receive the weather reports which are published daily by weather forecasting web services. आपल्याकडे वेदर बघण्यासाठी बरेचसे वेबसाइट्स आहेत. त्या वेबसाइट्स वरचा रिपोर्ट आपण या एम्बेडेड सिस्टम वरती घ्यायचा आहे. जी एम्बेडेड सिस्टम आपण छत्रीवरती बसवलेली आहे, त्या एम्बेडेड सिस्टमला रोज हे वेदर फोरकास्टिंग रिपोर्ट्स येत राहतील. ठीक आहे. नाउ द रिपोर्ट्स विच इज जनरेटेड एव्हरी डे, that report is analyzed by using embedded system and the controller which is used in that embedded system, right? And based on the weather forecasting report, means after receiving report, your controller will be able to know that it is going to be hot day today, or let's say it is going to rain today. right? So just by receiving the report, your controller will come to know that whether it is going to hot day or whether it is going to rain today, right? So based on that, microcontroller or the embedded system installed on it will take a decision to send a message, because it's embedded with what we call as a GSM unit. So GSM will send SMS. GSM is having facility to send the SMS to the number which is installed on that embedded system, right? So embedded system will send a message to predefined number. Of course, the predefined number is of owner's number. So every day in the morning, this umbrella will receive the report from weather forecasting web service and analyze the report and predetermine what weather condition is going to be there today. And based on that, it will send two kinds of messages to the owner. If it is going to hot, then the umbrella will send you the message while going to the office. Don't forget to take umbrella with you. It's going to hot today. Protect yourself from sun. And second kind of message is, if it is going to rain, then the umbrella will send a second message like, don't forget to take umbrella with you. It's going to rain today. Protect yourself from rain. Right? So if umbrella is able to send you two kinds of messages while you go to the office or to the school or to the college, how it behaves, how it behave like a human entity or living entity. Are you getting what I'm saying? सो तुम्हाला छत्री रोज सकाळी मेसेज पाठवणार आहे की आज पाऊस पडणार आहे, सो डोंट फॉरगेट टू टेक अम्ब्रेला विथ यू. तुमचीच छत्री तुम्हाला मेसेज करते की आज पाऊस पडणार आहे आणि मला सोबत घेऊन चल. इजंट इट लाईक अ मॅजिकल थिंग? So this is just an example of IoT I have covered here. Just to have a copyrights, I have inserted my own block diagram of IoT architecture, right? So this is the architecture of IoT. On one side, you are having a temperature or humidity or pressure sensors actuator. Now, what is this? This is basically a physical phenomena that we are interested to measure. So for doing this, we have a sensors. Those sensors can measure the temperature, humidity, pressure, or let's say any environmental factor continuously. And the sensor will be sending the data to its IoT gateway, which is next stage. What does this IoT gateway consist of? It would consist of embedded system. It will have microcontrollers. It will have ADC. It will have DAC. All those signal conditioning circuits and control circuits are used in this IoT gateway framework. So this connection, that means sensor to IoT gateway or platform, this connection may be wired or wireless, right? So the physical parameter measured by sensor is coming on this embedded system. Now we will call this embedded system as a data acquisition, because it's acquiring the data from various sensors. That's why it is called as a data acquisition. Then the data is sent on a cloud through internet. This media can be wireless or wired. Now, once the data is stored on a cloud server, the data center, then you can have access to that data center or cloud service at any time from your small handheld device called as a mobile, right? So this is how IoT works. Now, just to explain this with more clarity, let me give you some more insight on it. Any doubt up till now?
No, sir.
समजताय मी काय सांगितलं आतापर्यंत?
हो, sir.
So I was talking about this architecture of IoT. Now, suppose I want to know the weather condition of Mahabaleshwar. So what is possible way to check the weather condition of Mahabaleshwar? I'm just giving you the example of IoT. From this, you will understand the scope, how the IoT can be helpful in any of the application. right? The problem is to check the weather condition of Mahabaleshwar. What is the probable solution? I would take the mobile, right? And then I will search on a Google, what is the weather condition of Mahabaleshwar? So actually what happens, if you do this, actually what happens in backend, there are many weather forecasting stations, weather monitoring stations located at in the vicinity of that locality, that is Mahabaleshwar. महाबळेश्वर मध्ये ठिकठिकाणी हे वेदर मॉनिटर करण्यासाठी जे सेन्सर्स बसवलेले आहेत हे वेगवेगळ्या ठिकाणी तिथे जवळजवळच्या अंतरावरती बसवलेले असतात, बऱ्याच ठिकाणी बसवलेले असतात. Those sensors would record temperature, humidity, pressure. Those sensor data is sent to the nearest control station. Then those nearest control stations forward this data of Mahabaleshwar weather to nearest master control station, and the master control station put that data on a centralized server on a cloud on a internet. So that data is available on internet and it is being continuously recorded and being stored on internet with the help of cloud. हा डेटा कंटिन्युअसली डे बाय डे, आता आपण बोलतोय तरी सुद्धा तिकडचा वेदर फोरकास्टिंग किंवा वेदरचा जो रिपोर्ट आहे तो कंटिन्युअसली रेकॉर्ड होत राहतो. मी फक्त महाबळेश्वर बद्दल बोलतोय. इट हॅपन्स विथ ईच अँड एव्हरी लोकॅलिटी ऑफ द ग्लोब. होप दिस मेक्स सेन्स. मी फक्त महाबळेश्वर बद्दल बोलतोय. स्टील इट इज हॅपनिंग विथ लेट्स से गोवा, then it happens with all the this Konkan, and then Pune, entire Maharashtra, entire India, entire I would like to say entire continent and the entire universe. We are gathering data from entire universe, entire globe, right? So you can come to know any weather condition of any locality, right? So when the data is stored on a cloud, so when you put a query, because when you search on a Google, it goes in the form of query. So query would be like, what is the weather of Mahabaleshwar? So whatever latest update is there with this Mahabaleshwar locality, that would be responded, that data is sent to you as a response to the query that you have raised. तुम्ही जी क्वेरी रेज केलेली असते, जसं की व्हॉट इज द वेदर ऑफ महाबळेश्वर, ती क्वेरी तुम्हाला त्या क्वेरीला रिस्पॉन्स म्हणून जो काही लेटेस्ट डेटा महाबळेश्वर कडून सेंट्रल क्लाउड सर्व्हरला आलेला असतो तो डेटा तुम्हाला पाठवला जातो. सो जस्ट बाय सिटिंग हिअर आय कॅन कम टू नो द वेदर कंडिशन ऑफ एनी लोकॅलिटी. आता इथं एक कन्सेप्ट वाढतोय की क्लाउड सर्व्हरची लोकेशन काय आहे. पूर्वी क्लाउड, we are having this WhatsApp in everybody's mobile, right? Everybody is using WhatsApp. Earlier, that means when this WhatsApp was established in almost around 2009, the WhatsApp server is in United States, in around maybe in nearby this California. At that time, when we start our mobile, when we turn on the mobile network connection, we used to receive those messages, WhatsApp notifications very late. But now, what has happened? WhatsApp server, they have opened one sub branch into Vijayawada. You know that where is Vijayawada? Vijayawada कुठे आहे? भारतामध्ये. आता भारतामध्ये असल्यामुळे ह्या लोकॅलिटीचा काय डिफरन्स होतो, यापूर्वी जे नोटिफिकेशन यायचे ते खूप वेळ लागायचा डाउनलोडिंगला सुद्धा. पण आता ज्यावेळी मला वाटतं फेसबुकने टेक ओव्हर केलं 2016 आय डोंट नो वेदर दे हॅव टेक ओव्हर इन 2018, दे हॅव ओपन्ड अ सब डेटा सेंटर ऑफ WhatsApp server in Vijayawada. From that point onwards, we receive the WhatsApp notification first as soon as you turn on the data. This is the reason. बघा, तुम्ही मोबाईलचा डेटा काही वेळासाठी बंद करा, त्यानंतर तुम्हाला काहीतरी व्हॉट्सअप मेसेजेस आले पाहिजे, त्यानंतर तुम्हाला काहीतरी ईमेल्स आले पाहिजे. त्यानंतर जर तुम्ही डेटा ऑन केला तर तुम्हाला सगळ्यात पहिल्यांदा नोटिफिकेशन येतं ते व्हॉट्सअप नोटिफिकेशन येतं. जीमेलचं नोटिफिकेशन त्यानंतर येतं. आणखी काही notifications, that depends upon the locality of cloud server and the data center used to store that notification or to store that message. समजतं यातला डिफरन्स काय? जितक्या जवळ डेटा सेंटर असेल, जितक्या जवळ सर्व्हर असेल, तितक्या फास्ट तुम्हाला, बिकॉज इट रिक्वायर्स अ प्रोपागेशन डिले. Gmail server is in California, United States, right? So the mail which is sent, which is stored on a server of Gmail, takes more time as compared to WhatsApp messages, because WhatsApp messages are stored in the server which is present in Vijayawada. Clear with this? So let's move ahead. Now, most important component of IoT is embedded system. So what is embedded system? People usually say embedded system is just a combination of hardware and software which is designed to perform a dedicated task. Yes, of course, it's very or 100% correct definition. Embedded system is a combination of those two things, hardware and software, right? And it performs a dedicated task, means it is performed to do a specific task for which it has been designed. One of the example of embedded system is a microprocessor that controls an automobile engine. An embedded system is designed to run on own without human intervention. Means what? The embedded system will work automatically. It do not have human intervention and may be required to respond to the event in real time. म्हणजेच सपोज मी एखादी कंट्रोल सिस्टम डिझाईन केली टू कंट्रोल द टेम्परेचर ऑफ लेट्स से ग्रीन हाऊस. ग्रीन हाऊसचं टेम्परेचर मला मेंटेन करायचं आहे लेट्स से अराउंड 28 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, बिलो 28 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड. सो व्हॉट वुड आय हॅव? I will have the temperature sensor interfaced with some sort of microprocessor or controller. Then at the end, we will have this cooling system, let's say fan, right? If temperature rises above this threshold called as, let's say if it is set at 28 degree centigrade, then microcontroller will take a decision to turn on the fan. So once you turn on the fan, the temperature will start reducing gradually. So when the temperature falls below 28 degrees centigrade, there is no need to keep the fans on because the temperature is already below 28 degree. In that case, your embedded system intelligently take a decision to turn off the fan so as to just preserve the power which is required to run the fan. Getting my point? So this is how embedded system works. Which will have the input and output, as well as it will have the hardware, and to work this hardware appropriately, you need to write the software. So these are the things are included in embedded system. So we will talk more about the embedded system, but before that, let us understand the characteristics of embedded system. So it's a single function, as I said, it is a single function. It is designed to perform a specific task. If the embedded system is designed to monitor and control the temperature of certain area, it will not deal with the pressure or humidity and all other aspects. It will completely dedicated to measure the temperature and it will control the temperature, right? That's why it is called as a single function, or you can say it is a dedicated function. Next one is tightly constrained. Now there are many constraints. Actually, while designing embedded system, we have to think about many aspects of embedded system. In that, you must think about the power required to run that embedded system, because most of the times we have the embedded system which is handheld or mobile, right? So those embedded system would consume less and less power, because for doing that, what we would do actually, we keep our system in a sleep mode at maximum times, and whenever we want the system to respond certain event, we will wake up that system and we will utilize that system as an embedded system. So this is how we can design our system. So most of the times, so if you think about the Bluetooth, so most of you have Bluetooth headsets, right? So once you charge the Bluetooth headset, the battery backup, because almost all those Bluetooth headsets are having paper batteries, and we know that the performance of paper battery is very, very less. It would last around 1 hour or at max 2 hours. Paper battery, and the performance is very less. The battery will last around 1 or 2 hours. So how do we manage to have such a battery in a Bluetooth, and which is a device that can last or that can be working almost around let's say 12 hours or let's say 24 hours? How we can manage that? We put our Bluetooth device in a sleep mode, and we wake up that device only when it is required, right? So such a systems are called actually they are type of embedded systems. Next is microcontroller based, because we need to automate the systems, and that's why we need to use microprocessor and microcontrollers, right? One of them. So there are two choices: microprocessor or microcontroller. So which one would you like to prefer? If I ask you as an electronics engineer for embedded system, whether you like to prefer microprocessor or microcontroller. So those who have done the diploma, they would answer this quickly, but those who direct those who admitted through this first year, second year, they will have to know this fact. Though if we compare the microcontroller and microprocessor, now let me give you a little insight on those two words. Basically, microprocessors are the devices which process the data, which only process the data, for which they have only CPU. But in case of microcontrollers, they process as well as controls the data, right? That's why they have this arithmetic logical unit, they have CPU, they have additional RAM, ROM. What is RAM, ROM? RAM is a memory that is used to store the data, and ROM is the memory that is used to store the program, right? So those additional RAM, ROM comes with microcontroller, but they do not comes with a microprocessor, right? Additionally, this microcontroller comes with some additional features like IO ports. Then it comes with a serial port, right? So that those facilities are not available with microprocessor. But if you compare the price of microprocessor and microcontroller, both are having same price. If you go for purchase of 8051 and 8085, both costing the same, right? Even though microcontrollers are advantageous, costing is same. In a mobile phones or in a computers or in a laptops, processors are preferred. So I would like to hear from you, though microcontrollers are advantageous, why processors are used in a computers or let's say in mobile phones? Can anyone answer? कॅन एनिवन आन्सर टू दिस? वाय मोबाईल मध्ये जरी आपल्याला माहित आहे की प्रोसेसर पेक्षा कंट्रोलर कधी पण बेनिफिशियल आहे, तरी पण आपण मोबाईल फोन मध्ये किंवा कम्प्युटर्स मध्ये मायक्रो प्रोसेसर का वापरतो? सांगता येईल कोणाला?
सर टाइम कंझ्युम कमी व्हावा म्हणून.
टाइम कंझ्युम कमी व्हावा म्हणून. ओके, व्हेरी नाईस. बट
प्रोसेस
यू आर व्हेरी क्लोज टू द आन्सर. टाइम कंझ्युम किंवा that totally depends upon the crystal oscillator that we connect with the system, right? So time will not be a constraint. What happens actually when you try to use the microcontroller with such a embedded systems, the facilities which are inbuilt such as RAM, ROM, that are limited and they are application specific. If I want to run some small lightweight software with my mobile phone, it is okay with 2 GB RAM and let's say 16 GB ROM. But if I want to run my PUBG game on a mobile phone, it will not help. My mobile will not support that game, heavy game. So what would be the better option? You should go for a processor in the embedded system, because by using processor तुम्ही कम्प्युटर मध्ये सुद्धा बघू शकता, जर हेवी गेम इन्स्टॉल करायचे असेल तर एक्झिस्टिंग प्रोसेसरला तुम्ही रॅम वाढवू शकता. असं ऐकलंय का कधी रॅम वाढवली आहे माझ्या कम्प्युटरची किंवा लॅपटॉपची रॅम वाढवून घेतली आहे? बऱ्याचदा ऐकलं असेल, कारण प्रोसेसर आहे त्यामुळे तुम्हाला रॅम वाढवू शकता, रॉम वाढवू शकता, हार्ड डिस्क वाढवू शकता, बट द फॅसिलिटी, दिस फॅसिलिटी is very limited because interfacing capability of microcontroller is very less. So this is the one of the drawback of microcontroller. Otherwise, all there are many advantages of microcontrollers. Still we use processors and processors in mobile phones as well as in a computer, right? So this is the basic difference between processor and controller. So I have written there, this embedded system must be embedded system must be controller based. This controller would have two words, processor and controller. So you can go for processor or controller. Next, this embedded system must have a memory to store the data. Next, this embedded system must be connected with input and output. And the last one is hardware and software. It must be a combination of hardware and software. So this is about the embedded system. Now this is the architecture of embedded system. At the center you may find this hardware and software, right? So hardware, I'm just now going to talk about the hardware. It will have the programs which are burnt on the ROM of that hardware. Also it will have input variable on the one side, it will have output variable that you want to drive, and from one end you would have the keyboard, right? If it is computer, you will have the keyboard for user interface. With the help of that keyboard you can give the instructions to the embedded system. And then you have link to other systems. Link to other systems म्हणजे दोन embedded system जर combine करायचे असतील तर तुम्हाला हे हा ऑप्शन खूप महत्वाचा आहे, that is link to other systems. Now these are the components of embedded system. In an embedded system it is divided into two groups. One is platform, second one is application, right? So application basically is a set of softwares. So if I talk about mobile phones, what are the applications? So the applications can be let's say YouTube, it can be Gmail, it can be WhatsApp, it can be Instagram, it can be Twitter, it can be LinkedIn, it can be anything like our Google Meet, right? These are the applications. So these are a set of softwares that provides user with different types of services. So this is what about the application. Application means a set of softwares. Because in embedded system there are two types of softwares. One is application, second one is usual software. I'm going to talk about this. So platform is further divided into two groups. One is hardware, second one is software. So in hardware we have different components such as sensor, analog to digital converter, processor, digital to analog, and all that. And in sensors and in a software we have basically some inbuilt softwares or the softwares that you are going to write to operate that embedded system very efficiently. So this software would include your operating system. या ऍप्लिकेशन मध्ये काय असणार आहेत, युजर ऍप्लिकेशन्स असणार आहेत, युजर सॉफ्टवेअर्स असणार आहेत. बट इन दिस सॉफ्टवेअर you would find operating system, system programs, bootloaders. Those system programs, bootloader, and operating systems are required to provide the user-friendly interface to the user. They are required to initialize the hardware. They are required to just initialize the operating system. So these are the uses of software in embedded system. So now let us focus on this hardware part. What hardware is involved in embedded system? So you would have sensors that can read the physical phenomena. Then, of course, to feed this data to the embedded system, you should convert that data, which is in analog form, into the digital form. So ADC is used for that purpose. Next step is processor and processor or controller. As I said, if you are using controller, no problem. If you are using processor, it will not have inbuilt memory, it will not have inbuilt RAM, ROM, and it will not have inbuilt IO port interfacing. So if you are using processor, you have to add those blocks with the processor. And if you are using controller, no problem at all. If it is application specific, you can use it directly. Next step is just to drive the output. Means what? Just now I have given you example of temperature control in a greenhouse automation. You want to keep the temperature below 28 degrees centigrade. So for that, you have to use LM35 sensor. Then the output of LM35 is converted into the analog to digital converter by using, let's say, 0804 or 0808 IC, and then we just provide this data to the processor and controller, right? So controller would store this data, and if based on that, if it want to take a decision to drive the further circuitry such as driver circuit and fan, what you will have to do, you have to trigger the output by using this digital to analog converter. So digitalized data is converted into analog. This analog signal can drive the actuator, and in turn it will drive the fan, right? So this is how every embedded system is categorized with the help of this block diagram. So anywhere if you go the to understand the embedded system block diagram, you will find those blocks. Now very nice category of applications I have with me. So starting with the AC, air conditioning. Just now I have given you example of this similar kind of example. So just to give more insight on AC, I will tell you how easy to build an embedded system for air conditioner. Now, suppose I'm having a remote control with the help of which I can set the temperature of AC. So let's say by using remote control, I set the threshold of air conditioning, that is AC, at 22 degrees centigrade. So when the temperature falls, when the temperature exceeds 22 degrees centigrade, then the data is recorded, stored on a microcontroller or on an embedded system. Embedded system take a decision to turn on the cooling system, and once the cooling system starts, the temperature of the room starts, it will gradually falls, and when it falls below this set range, that is 22 degrees centigrade, again the temperature actually it is continuously monitored, and when it is fall below 22 degrees centigrade, the embedded system takes a decision to turn off the cooling system, right? So this is how AC is operated. This is how you can decide the duty cycle by using setting the temperature on control panel of AC. Next one is remote control. So as I said, those all those systems you can categorize, you can describe with the help of the block diagram which we have just now discussed. Sensor, analog to digital converter, controller, digital to analog controller, and actuator. So remote control is one of the example. Your mobile phone is the embedded system. Laptop is the embedded system. Desktop or computer is the embedded system, because we have interfaced the CPU with input and output devices. So it becomes embedded system, and it's performing some specific tasks. Right? Refrigerator is another embedded system. Then television is there, washing machine, oven, digital watch, alarm clock. Many examples are there. Then if I talk further about the examples, printer is the example. So the things which are known to you, multimeter is one of the example of embedded system, because it's having controller board inside. It can drive the display, right? Oscilloscope is one of the example of embedded system. Line tester is there. Then GPS, ATM, radar, traffic signal, these are the examples of embedded system. Now you may find many applications in following domains. Those domains may include automobile, agriculture, space, medical and healthcare, banking, transportation, and offices. These are the examples where you can find applications of embedded system. Right? Now, before I move on to the different embedded platforms used in IoT, I would like to request all the participants, all the students, to mention your roll number in comment box now. So whomever are attending right now, their attendance will be marked. Now write your roll number, name, All of you have done this? I think all of you have sent their roll numbers and names. So by the time, let us continue. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Please interrupt me if the video or let's say audio is not proper, so I can have some other setup. So I was talking about embedded system, and in the market you will find variety of hardwares used for IoT, variety of hardware and embedded system used for IoT. So most popularly, you will find this Raspberry Pi is being used in a market as a one of the IoT device. So let me tell you here, let me clear you one thing here. IoT म्हणजे Raspberry Pi नव्हे किंवा Raspberry Pi म्हणजे IoT नव्हे. समजता मी काय बोलतोय? IoT not necessarily include this Raspberry Pi. If I'm using Raspberry Pi to record something, to do certain tasks, your Raspberry Pi is not making use of internet. In that case, the Raspberry Pi is not an IoT. It's not an Internet of Things. So anything that do not make use of internet, that you cannot say it is IoT. जिथं इंटरनेटचा वापर होत नाही तिथं तुम्ही simply you can say it's not an IoT. Now, focusing on this, let me tell you this, what exactly this Raspberry Pi means and what exactly it is. So this is a small microcomputer that comes around, let's say 3,100 or let's say to 3,200. So this is very powerful device. Raspberry Pi is very powerful device which comes in 2 to 3 variants with 1 GB RAM or 2 GB RAM or 4 GB RAM inbuilt. So you are having 4 GB RAM inside, which is inbuilt. Additionally, you are having 64-bit Broadcom 2711 processor, which is Cortex A72 series processor, which is very powerful processor actually. Once you understand this microcontroller, once you study the microcontroller, PIC microcontroller, then in a embedded system, once you study this LPC 2148, you will understand what exactly the meaning of 64-bit. It's having capability of making, or it's having capability of processing 64 bits at a time, right? So that's why it is 64-bit. Then we have a wireless LAN adapter. Let's say it's having support to B class B Wi-Fi. It's having support to class G Wi-Fi, class N Wi-Fi, class AC Wi-Fi, right? So the typical frequency ranges are from 2.4 gigahertz to 5.0 gigahertz. Then next, it's having a LAN support. LAN would support 10 or let's say 100 or 1 Mbp, 1000 Mbps support. ऑपरेटिंग पॉवर इज 5 वोल्ट. आता मी ह्याला थोडक्यात सांगायचा प्रयत्न करतो रास्पबेरी पाय म्हणजे काय. हा रास्पबेरी पाय आहे, या बाजूला जिथं तुम्ही हा पॉइंटर बघताय या ठिकाणी रास्पबेरी पाय आहे. याच्यामध्ये फिजिकल लेआउट जर तुम्ही बघितला तर तुम्हाला या ठिकाणी प्रोसेसर दिसेल. ठीक आहे. हा प्रोसेसर जो आहे तो या सगळ्या आउटर पेरिफेरल्सला ऑपरेट करतो. या सगळ्या आउटर पेरिफेरल्सला ऑपरेटिंग ठेवण्याचं काम हा प्रोसेसर करतो. हा प्रोसेसर कुठला आहे? ब्रॉडकॉमचा प्रोसेसर. आता एक्सटर्नल अपीयरन्स मध्ये इथं काय काय, इथं इथरनेट पोर्ट आहे. बाय युझिंग दिस इथरनेट पोर्ट यू कॅन कनेक्ट इंटरनेट विथ युअर दिस रास्पबेरी पाय. नेक्स्ट वी आर हॅव्हिंग 4 USB पोर्ट्स. या ठिकाणी 4 USB पोर्ट्स दिलेले आहेत. ह्या 4 USB पोर्ट्सचा वापर करून तुम्ही तुमचा कीबोर्ड असेल, माऊस असेल, वेबकॅम असेल किंवा आणखी काही असेल, पेनड्राईव्ह असेल, ते तुम्ही या ठिकाणी कनेक्ट करू शकता. ठीक आहे. त्यानंतर या ठिकाणी तुम्हाला लेट्स से 3.5 mm जॅक with the help of which you can connect your microphone and speakers with this particular port. Then we have two small micro USB micro power port. These are required for powering up the external peripherals. म्हणजे जसं की असेल तुमचा स्क्रीन असेल किंवा लेट्स से सम अदर इनपुट डिव्हाइस कीबोर्ड असेल ते या ठिकाणी तुम्ही छोटा कीबोर्ड जो इनबिल्ड तुम्ही याच्याशी जोडू शकता तो कीबोर्ड तुम्हाला इथून कनेक्ट करायचा. त्यानंतर इथं USB मायक्रो USB पॉवर पोर्ट आहे थ्रू विच यू कॅन गिव्ह द सप्लाय टू दिस एंटायर डिव्हाइस. त्या रास्पबेरी पायला तुम्ही इथून सप्लाय द्यायचा आहे. हा सप्लाय देत असताना तुम्ही काय काय ऑप्शन्स आहेत तुमच्याकडे. आयदर यू कॅन यूज द युअर मोबाईल फोन चार्जर. तुम्ही मोबाईलचं चार्जर वापरू शकता किंवा तुम्हाला बॅकअप पाहिजे असेल तर तुम्ही काय करू शकता इथून फक्त पॉवर बँकचं कनेक्शन देऊन ठेवायचं. ठीक आहे. तर पॉवर बँक याला जोडली तर साधारण याचं बॅकअप 4 ते 5 तासापर्यंत जाऊ शकतं. त्यानंतर आहे तुमच्याकडे स्क्रीन इंटरफेस. हा जो इंटरफेस आहे दॅट इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर data lines to be given to the screen. So you can interface LED screen, you can interface TFT screen, you can interface capacitive screen. All types of screens are supported with this Raspberry Pi. At the bottom end, you can find this memory card interface. So you can increase the memory capacity of this particular Raspberry Pi. And in addition to that, you can find those general purpose input output are on the one side of this are present. So this is what Raspberry Pi is. आता मला सांगा याला जर आपण स्क्रीन जोडू शकतोय, HDMI पोर्ट आहे, याला पॉवर पोर्ट आहे, USB पोर्ट आहे, इथरनेट आहे, वायफाय आहे. जर आपण हे सगळे कीबोर्ड, माऊस, मॉनिटर किंवा वायफाय किंवा सगळं जर याला इंटरफेस केलं, कॅन यू कम्पेअर दिस वन विथ युअर डेस्कटॉप और लेट्स से कम्प्युटर. So it's mini computer. That's why I told that this is a mini computer which you can make for whose use you can make for doing any task, right? So this is one thing. Now what is the cost of this Raspberry Pi? Cost of Raspberry Pi is around 3,100 to let's say 100 rupees here and there. So this is about Raspberry Pi model B version 4, right? So there is a cost-effective solution. They have reduced the price of Raspberry Pi by using what? By reducing some of the features from this Raspberry Pi, and they have labeled this new Raspberry Pi as a Raspberry Pi Zero. काय म्हणायचं त्याला आपण? Raspberry Pi Zero. Just a minute. Now, Raspberry Pi Zero. In Raspberry Pi, you will find some less USBs, less interfacing capabilities, but it can perform the task if you connect this Raspberry Pi Zero with USB hub. USB hub जर जोडला तर तुम्ही 4 माऊस किंवा त्याला 4 कीबोर्ड इंटरफेस करू शकता. समजताय? So you can make this use of Raspberry Pi Zero as Raspberry Pi. But the cost of Raspberry Pi Zero is almost let's say around 1,000 rupees. So this is one of the another alternative. Next one is BeagleBone. BeagleBone is another powerful tool, powerful embedded platform which is having similar capabilities, but you may find only one USB here. Only one USB is there. Otherwise, Ethernet port is there. It supports Wi-Fi. It supports. It takes 5-volt supply and it operates on that. So BeagleBone. But the cost of BeagleBone is 5,500. This is one of the drawbacks. And at the end, you may find this Intel Galileo. This Intel Galileo is basically used in computers. So you might have seen such type of motherboards in the computer, right? So the cost of such a motherboards varies from 6,000 to 30,000. So Intel Galileo you can use for IoT. And most important and cost-effective solution is ESP8266. So this ESP8266 is standalone system, or you can call it as a node MCU, which comes in 400 rupees. If you create a hotspot and if you put SSID and username with this ESP8266, This ESP8266 will be able to communicate over the internet by using your hotspot internet, right? So whatever data we gather from the sensor on this ESP8266, that we can put on the cloud, right? So this is about the embedded platforms used in IoT. So there are many things to talk, but I think it's 2:30 already. So rather than proceeding, rather than extending this session, I would like to cover these points in next session, because we are having two sessions for IoT. So that's all in the IoT part one. Different 15 sensors I wanted to discuss with you. Those sensors I will discuss with you in our next session. And one more thing is missing, that is cloud. So I will take you through the cloud concepts in next lecture. So I have taken the attendance, I have taken a screenshot. Now, if you have any query, you can ask. Otherwise, if you don't have any query, you can leave and you can join the next lecture. कोणाचं नेक्स्ट लेक्चर लिंक आली ना ब्रेक आहे का आता संध्या प्रागभाटे आत्ता जॉईन होत आहे